Today's episode of This Is Only a Test was brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is the easiest way to create a beautiful website, blog, or online store for you and your ideas. Squarespace features an elegant interface, beautiful templates, and incredible 24/7 customer support. Try Squarespace at squarespace.com and enter offer code TEST at checkout to get 10% off. Again, that's offer code TEST at squarespace.com to get 10% off. Squarespace. Build it beautiful.
Let's start the show.
It's August 6, 2015. Welcome to This Is Only a Test, the official podcast of Tested.com. Wow, I'm all over the place today. Burn it all down.
It's so early. It's so early to start over.
Pushing through. Never stop. I'm Will Smith. Norman Chan is still on vacation. Our substitute Norm for today, Veronica Belmont.
Hello.
Wearing glasses, appropriate color hair, more lipstick than Norm usually wears.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Jeremy Williams returned from the East Coast.
Hello.
Welcome back, sir.
It's good to be back. I'm glad to see your control board abilities have not improved one bit.
Last week, Joey sat over here and pressed the buttons for me, so I didn't have to think about stopping the music and pressing the button and bringing the other music up, and it was just too much this morning. So I'm now into week 2 of bachelorhood. My wife and daughter went to visit family on the East Coast last Monday or Tuesday, and so I've gone through the whole foul bachelor frog, like the entire range of foul bachelor frog behaviors. Right?
I don't know what that means.
Do you know foul bachelor frog is my favorite Reddit meme. Oh, it's my favorite advice animal.
I don't know that one. Okay.
He's basically you've known Gary for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like Gary was before he got married.
Okay.
Oh
yeah,
my.
met his wife. So, for example, I was going to have some cereal the other night, as one does, and I realized that the milk had gone bad, because that's the thing that happens when you don't drink very much milk as a grown ass man. And then I'd already poured the cereal. I really was excited about the cereal, and I was like, wait, there's some vanilla ice cream in here. If I melt that, then I'm halfway there. Totally worked. Felt really a lot of pathos and self-loathing, but it worked.
Nice.
So yeah,
You could have just had the cereal dry.
it's gross. It's life cereal dry. It'll cut up your mouth. It's not good.
It's dangerous, really. It was self-defense.
I can't take that kind of risk with this mouth.
Do you
It's the moneymaker.
Do you find yourself letting the house go a little bit, such that you might have to do a nice clean before the family returns?
So that used to be my move. Like in the old days, before the child, I did that. But the house was a complete wreck when they left.
Oh.
Because packing and getting everything ready and figuring out what to take for a 2-year-old is a fairly substantial undertaking. So I did a clean after that, and then I've been keeping it tidy, except for I only need to run the dishwasher every 3 days.
Isn't that
just
great?
One of me.
That
Yes.
is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I'm cooking at home, and it's only me and my husband, so
Yeah.
we don't generate a ton of dishes, but it's kind of like doing the dishwasher every night, and that I feel like
Yeah.
that's a lot,
Yeah.
even for us. But with adding a kid in there, that's got to be a lot of extra washing.
It's definitely once a day.
Yeah, if you don't do it once a day, you have real problems. When she was really little, we would sometimes do it twice a day, like when we were doing bottles and all the pumping stuff and all that. It would just anytime there was stuff in there, you'd hit the button and let it go. You are new to the world of dishwashers. I saw this on Twitter.
No. Who?
I thought you
Me?
just got a dish. Oh, whoop.
No, not me. I think you're thinking of someone
Somebody
else.
Oh, I am thinking of someone else.
Yeah, I don't know why I
Sorry.
said it like that. Like we should all
Very
know
suspicious.
somebody
It's
else.
another. It's a shared. It's somebody who we all know.
Is it?
Yeah.
Can we?
Well, I
say
mean,
who
it's
it
Kristen
is?
Salvatore.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I saw that post too.
Right. I was
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
I was like, this is unexpected. Why would she just now have a dishwasher?
No, yeah, I got
Sorry.
one a few years. The most important thing, dishwasher's great, but for me, the biggest one is washing machine in the house.
Washing machine makes
That
a
is
huge
like next
yeah,
level.
lifestyle improvement.
Totally.
Dishwasher is one of those things that when
Silent mode, man.
I know.
What is the deal?
It's hooked
like,
into
do
my
you even
computer is
podcast,
the
bro?
problem. I know. It's 300 episodes. We're amateurs. No, when we got it, like when we moved to San Francisco, I was amazed that you could pay $2 $2,000 or $3,000 a month for an apartment that didn't have things like a washing machine and a
Yeah,
dishwasher,
yeah.
or at least places for them.
We did have our first apartment, or one of our first apartments in San Francisco had a washing machine, but it was so awful. It was so broken that like we just hand washed everything. We used it as a drying rack.
Oh, see that
Yeah,
that's
classic.
Yeah, that's a very San Francisco move.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the my first apartment here had an oven that the thermostat didn't work. So the first time I used the oven was the night before Thanksgiving because I was tasked with bringing pies. So I fired up the oven, put in 3 pies.
You just had no idea what temperature it was running at?
No. You set the temperature, but it never turned off.
Oh!
So,
Oh my God.
normal thermostat works by turning on and off and keeping it right around that temperature.
Oh, no.
This, I walked in the oven, I was like, in the kitchen, I was like, man, it's really hot in here. What's that smell? And then when I looked, because I knew the thermostat, there was a thermometer in the oven that
Right.
somebody had put there before, and I was like, it's only 275 degrees. It's been going for a long time. It feels way hotter than that.
Yeah.
And it was because it had rolled around. It had gone all the way around the circle.
So it was
it's like 750 or 800.
600. Oh my God.
In retrospect, that would have been amazing for making
pizza oven. I
Yeah.
was just going to say, that's pizza oven temperature.
A little bit of a fire hazard.
That's really nerdy that we both
Yeah.
immediately thought that.
Yeah. Have you seen that pizza oven? Somebody sent me a link to it the other day.
No.
There's a thing called an uni or an umi, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a backyard pizza oven. It's $300 and it's like stainless, which I question because like whether that's going to hold up over a long period of time, I
Yeah.
don't know. But they say you can get it to 800 degrees and you can do the whole, like my ultimate dream is to have a pizza oven that lets me do, it's not my ultimate dream, but one of my dreams is to have
It's
a
up
pizza
there.
oven that lets me do the whole 1,000-degree oven, and then you do some pizzas, and then you make some bread, and like as it cools down, you do like 5 or 6 different things in there. So it's like a whole feast of
That's
the
pretty
pizza
cool.
oven.
I'm scared because also in typical San Francisco fashion, I don't have a real backyard.
Oh.
I have a wood-plated like deck that covers all of our outdoor space.
Yeah.
So I'm scared to get an oven or like an outdoor stove or something like that, or a fire pit, because I don't want to set my whole house on fire.
You'd have to mess up pretty bad to set your backyard on fire with a fire pit, I think. But the
Yeah.
pizza oven, maybe.
Yeah,
I mean, those pizza ovens, you put the wood way back in the back.
that's true.
Yeah, it's probably okay.
Okay.
I worked for both Domino's and Papa John's, and I didn't know the temperature of a pizza oven.
Well, those they don't really make pizza at Domino's and Papa John's.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
I actually drove past a Domino's yesterday, and I was like, I want some Domino's.
So, okay, in the Foul Bachelor Frog territory, I ordered Domino's
What?
the first night they left.
Well, there's so many better pizza places.
I
Why
live
would
in
you
Pacifica.
Okay, you're right. You're right.
And all of the good pizza places, there's one really good pizza place, 2 passable pizza places. Like you order the right thing, you'll get a
Sometimes
good
you
pie.
just want goddamn Domino's.
Everybody in Pacifica stops delivering at 9:30, and it was the Windows 10 embargo night, and I didn't finish writing until 9:30. I picked up the phone, dialed, and they were like, "Oh, sorry, we stopped delivering 20 minutes ago." Really?
Wow.
Yeah, so I had to order it. Domino's was my only option.
Was it good?
It was much better than I expected.
Domino's has been like turning things around, I hear.
It tasted like real pizza. It was a little doughier than I like. It
Yeah.
didn't have a good crunch on the crust, or like it. I like that crisp, soft transition.
Yeah.
But yeah,
We
overall
have to
pretty
talk
well.
about pizza. We have to talk about Gary and pizza.
Gary. Don't engage Gary on food.
We went to Red Lobster the other night together.
Oh, he loves Red Lobster.
He does. He is
And
a
our-
fan
and
of
our
the Cheddar Bay
spouses,
biscuit.
yeah. We didn't go on like a
How
Red
did-
Lobster date.
How did
with our
Ryan do with this?
spouses.
I would think he's kind
Ryan,
of anti-Red Lobster.
He bitched about it the entire time.
Yeah, that seems about right.
I had to like elbow him to be like, "You're insulting my guests. Like,
Yeah.
stop it.
Yep.
I'm enjoying this."
Yep.
We had a good time.
We
Overall.
went to Olive Garden one time.
They told me the Olive Garden story.
Yeah.
Oh, Will hated Olive Garden.
I do
he was
not.
so mad. You were basically tricked into going, right?
You
guys were
it was on
shopping,
Halloween.
then-
No,
Oh,
we
that's what
we
it
were doing
was.
mall Halloween
Okay.
with the toddlers, and like it was the only option that wouldn't involve waiting for 45 minutes for mall food. And we had
Did you have the
mall.
breadsticks?
I had an unlimited salad and breadsticks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I haven't been to an Olive Garden in many, many years.
My rule is if I'm going to eat something with that many calories, it better be it's just outstanding.
I'll do Chili's in a hot second. I'll do Chili's forever.
Okay, Jeremy Williams, you went to Pittsburgh.
I did go to Pittsburgh. Why would one go to Pittsburgh?
Are you a steel driving man?
Believe it or not, there was an event in Pittsburgh called Pinburgh.
Okay, it's about bowling.
No, it's
9-pin bowling.
It's about pinball.
Oh,
Pinball.
There was the largest ever in history pinball tournament in Pittsburgh last week, and it was amazing.
How does one do a pinball tournament?
Well, it's like bracket style with winners and losers.
But
and
do you play the same machine over and over again, or you cycle through machines?
Well,
It's like you have to have deep.
This is a really intense format. So there's 655 people that actually showed up for the tournament.
Wow.
Throwing a tournament for that number of people
Yeah.
is remarkable to begin with. But the way that they structured it was the very first day, everybody just plays anybody. And depending on how well you do, you get bracketed into 4 different groups the next day, A, B, C, and D divisions. And then you play off in those divisions, randomly. And then depending on how well you do, you progress maybe or maybe not to the playoffs.
So it's head to head.
Yeah, but it's like 12-hour days of pinball.
Yeah.
Like you're playing pinball nonstop from like 9 o'clock until 10 o'clock.
This seems like the kind of thing that could start out seeming like a really great idea and end up being an absolute nightmare.
Ton of fun though.
Okay.
Ton of fun. They've been doing this event for 5 years now. This year they actually branched out into arcades too. So they had a whole section of the room that was old. It was sort of like California Extreme.
But flip-flopped.
Where it's mainly pinball.
Yeah.
Right. And they had lots of people there from the arcade scene. So they had a Kong off. I guess that's a thing. So they had the Donkey Kong competition there, the fourth big event that they've done before. Billy Mitchell was there. Steve Wiebe, the stars of King of Kong.
Oh, cool.
Walter Day, the referee from that movie, was there refereeing. It was super cool. I met Eugene Jarvis. We chatted about old Midway and He did Defender and Robotron. Yeah. It was fun. It was a ton of fun. I ended up placing 60th.
Nice.
Tying for 60th.
Out of 600 people?
Yeah.
That's
Top
pretty
10%,
good.
man. That's
Nice.
awesome.
I'm totally happy with my performance.
Right on.
It was a ton of fun. 40 of us from the Bay Area flew out together.
Oh, so you had like a contingent.
Yeah.
40 of you?
We had a crew.
There's a lot of... Was Steve Lynn
Rolling
there?
deep.
No. Steve was not
Oh,
there.
no Steve.
No. It was the lots of people who play in leagues here.
Okay. Like the
People
Free
who-
Gold Watch Club.
People who have rankings, like world rankings already. You have a world ranking if you've ever played in an official tournament. But yeah, it was a ton of fun.
What's your world ranking, Jeremy?
Going in, it was like 330 something.
Wow.
But I don't know what it is now.
I've never been
That's
330th
amazing.
best in the world
That's
at anything.
amazing.
It's not that amazing. It depends on how many things you play. So it's just like you get points for playing, and if you do well in tournaments, you end up getting more points. But if you play in a lot of things,
Did you get like a participant ribbon or anything like that?
no.
What was the prize if you won?
$15,000.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like the international of
Wow.
pinball.
There was a lot of money in it. I guess there were 160 people in the playoffs, and every one of those people got at least $100.
Wow.
It was very, very cool.
That's awesome.
Incredibly well run.
Congrats.
I was very, very happy with the whole
Well,
event.
I have to say, I'm impressed.
Yeah. I
I'm
didn't
very
know.
impressed.
If I'd
Yeah.
known that, I would have led with you. The 300th
Instead of
best
our
person in the
bologna Red
right. We had a
Lobster
bunch of nonsense about Cheddar
stupid
Bay
stuff.
biscuits.
I'm like the 500th best Red Lobster eater.
That's pretty good. I
Maybe.
mean, there's a lot of people that eat a Red Lobster.
Yeah.
Is that by volume or by quantity? I guess it's the same.
It's not by quality,
No,
that's for sure.
no.
That's funny.
Yeah.
You know who was there though is Ryan, the guy who makes those little arcade cabinets.
Really?
Yeah, the ones that we did a build
yeah.
of. And you just published that.
Yeah.
So and I'd never met him, so I ran into him there. He had a booth. He was selling his arcade cabinets. Apparently, Tested Show has done something good for his business.
We tend to do that for people who make small scale kits.
Yeah.
We either destroy their businesses or we do good things for them, depending on how set up they
How
are
do you
for scale.
destroy?
Right.
Oh,
Well,
it's too
yeah,
much,
like if-
overloads.
yeah,
Gotcha.
Yeah, we did bad things to somebody that we did a while ago. They were not unhappy about it, but it was a significant. Anyway,
Well, he was very grateful. So
That's
I'm
awesome.
passing that on.
well, cool. I'm glad. I mean, we had a lot of fun. I thought that kit. So what Jeremy brought in that we built was it's like a laser cut wood mini arcade cabinet that runs. It originally runs on a Raspberry Pi, but you put a nuke in.
It's a little main cabinet.
Yeah, like a main cabinet that you can run all sorts of other emulated stuff on. It's really cool.
Nice.
Should we talk about smuggling drugs into prison? I'm
How's
just
what-
going to jump right
Crazy.
into it.
Let's do it.
So, in Ohio, somebody busted somebody using a quad to overfly a prison, drop a pack of, I think, heroin and tobacco and some other stuff into the prison yard.
What were they thinking? How did they not think that thing would be spotted?
I mean, you can get, if you're over 200 feet, you're not going to be able to see
Or here.
or hear it. So if you're a good shot, Like if you like, it's basically like playing the reverse claw game from the arcade.
That's right. Yeah, it's the drop game.
Right, and you have to account for wind and everything.
I love this idea.
I think we should set this up at the polo fields and try this sometime. Like build a prison yard size,
Right.
like
Yeah.
tape out the
Put a
area.
big X in the middle of the field.
Exactly.
As the drop zone.
Well, no, the drop zone's probably off by the corner someplace where it's going to be like I've watched Orange is the New Black. I know what prison's like.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, you got to be off on the side where nobody is because if a
Nice.
package falls from the sky in the middle of the yard, there's going to be a riot, which
there
is what
was,
happened.
Which there
Yeah.
was.
Who knew? This has happened a couple of times. There's actually companies that make anti-drone hardware now that will like take over the radio or block the 2.4 gigahertz spectrum or whatever. That prisons are now spending money on.
This
so.
is kind of brilliant, though.
Oh,
I mean,
it's-
in terms of an idea, like that's good thinking.
I mean, it's easier than carrying it in your butt.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Probably carry more too, but I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, I guess it depends on a lot of variables that we won't get into.
So obviously, at least one person. How many people knew it was going to drop? Do you know?
I would assume only one person because
Okay.
it seems like again, from my deep well of prison experience,
So did the drop go wrong?
I think that they dropped too close to a bunch of people and a bunch of people saw it is kind of the word that I
And they
heard.
were
Right.
like, "Woo, drugs!"
Right.
Yeah.
Huh.
Or he's like,
Yeah.
oh man, I got some black tar and some smokes. Yeah.
That guy was very popular for like 2 seconds.
I don't think so. I think he probably got shivved, but I could be wrong.
Really?
I don't know in this case, but I know that there has been like physical violence in other. This isn't the first time this has happened. This was the big
Wait,
takeaway from
physical
this story.
violence happens in prisons?
It's shocking, I know.
The people aren't protected?
No,
I thought
it's
that
not.
was the
It's-
whole point of being in prison.
No,
is
no,
that they're-
we're protected from them, not they're
Oh.
protected from each other. Right. You need to watch Orange is the New Black. It's really good.
I do.
This is going to happen quite often, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a thing now.
Let's see. This is a good story. Hackers distributed malware using Yahoo's ad network for the last 7 days, or a run of 7 contiguous days. So they were using a Flash exploit and were running stuff that would basically take over your computer or install their own software on your computer using ads that were sent via the second or third largest Flash ad network in the country or world right now. So that's pretty awesome. This is if you haven't already gotten rid of Flash, this is probably the time to do it. It also makes the advertising scene on the internet a lot more friendly. You get a lot less of the autoplay video ads and that kind of nonsense.
Is this why I've gotten the all snap all the time now with Chrome? Do you get that?
What's Snap?
All, like the all snap error where the folder comes up and he's frowning at you and it says all
Oh.
snap?
I don't know about that. I've gotten that a lot lately too. I
Right.
just assumed they had a bad build.
Okay, because I get it all the time on The Verge, like sites that should be pretty robust and that I never used to have a problem with.
Well,
I thought maybe it was the Flash issue. Maybe
Are you
not.
talking about The Verge specifically?
It was often on The Verge, but it was other sites too.
So part of the problem with The Verge is that page is enormous. There was another article about this in terms of like how advertising has gone haywire. And I think that page loads like 29 megs of scripts, of offsite scripts or stuff like that. So that's stuff that tracks, stuff for the big ad networks like DoubleClick and AOL and whoever else they're buying ads through or selling ads through.
What's your favorite way of getting rid of Flash?
Well, first you have to uninstall it, and then Chrome you have to disable it manually because there's actually a Flash implementation built into Chrome. But I think you can go to about:/Flash on Chrome and turn it off there,
Okay.
or set it to at least only load when you click, so you don't have the things come in and automatically start running Flash stuff in the background. It's just not necessary anymore is the other thing.
Right.
I mean, except for and people ask about this every time we talk about how much Flash sucks. Our premium videos it's still a Flash player. We pretty sure we have a solution for our third. It's not an easy fix because we don't host our premium videos locally. We use a third party client to do that. A third party server to do that. So we have to work with their stuff, not with our stuff.
Well, they must be feeling this, I would think, because there's a whole there's less affinity for Flash now than ever.
In fairness, I think when we rolled out the premium video player, probably our guys said, "Hey, what's the easiest way to get this out as fast as possible?" Oh, Flash. Okay. Rather than going through the hoops of doing the HTML5 player, because they have an HTML5 solution. It didn't fill our needs.
Got it.
So, there's a Galaxy Note 5 leak. So this is interesting because Samsung had quarterly reports last week, talked about how the Galaxy S6 has underperformed despite reviewing really, really well. And it's the first Samsung Galaxy phone that has no removable battery and no SD card slot. So the Note 5, the thought was, people have rejected this phone because it doesn't have these two things that were kind of a core part of their USP versus, say, the iPhone. well, maybe they'll change that with the Note 5 since people seem to reject it. And it seems like no. It's still a glass back. It's going to be most likely no removable battery and no SD card slot, assuming the rumors are true.
That's something I would like to have on the iPhone would be a removable battery.
Do you run out of battery?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I have the
At
Duke.
events.
I've never run out of battery.
And I hate having to have a Mophie pack.
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy those anymore because I keep upgrading my phone. And then if there was a universal battery that worked on many
battery.
Well, I mean, there's a pack. You can get a pack and carry around a 400-pound brick with you.
That is not a 400-pound brick.
That's much lighter than the one I have.
That is
But
a
it probably
full
doesn't have
Duke
as
charge.
much-
It'll fill this all the way up, or it does like half of an
Once?
iPad once.
Yeah, the one I have is
Can I see that?
4 days worth.
Well, right, but I mean, if I used more than 2 days worth of battery on a
Wouldn't
day,
it be nice to just snap in a fresh battery and not even have to
I mean,
wait?
yes, absolutely. But would you rather the phone be a little bit thicker? And having dealt with micro SD card slots on Android phones in the past, the implementation for how that stuff works is not. It's better now than it was, but it wasn't. It's hinky, right? Like stuff loads weird if it's on the wrong place, and it's
I
just never
know.
what
I
you
know
want.
it's probably not the best. I just kind of wish it was there.
I mean,
I think I'm missing the old like MacBook Pro like removable battery situation
Yeah.
from back in the day.
Like the laptop battery is the much bigger deal, I
Yeah,
think, than the
yeah.
phone battery.
Isn't it
I
just
agree.
a form factor issue? I mean, aren't they doing it because they want to make smaller,
Right.
thinner objects?
And they want to use like solid metal backs instead of plastic. Like if you have
Yeah.
a door on the back, then it's probably going to be plastic. I mean, the other thing that the halfway in between is making it easy to have either do it yourself or small third party replace the battery for a nominal fee, right? Like I'm totally fine if they didn't glue the batteries into the phones. I think they don't. They only glue the batteries in the iPads and the laptops, but like the fact that you can unscrew the phone, swap the battery out relatively quickly, like that kind of solves the problem for me because I don't want day-to-day replacement. I'm more concerned about what happens after 1,500 charge cycles when the battery's no good anymore and my phone still is, has 5 years of life in it.
I think the thing that I'm sad about, and I think your listeners will probably not agree, is that the reason I like Android phones as opposed to Apple iPhones is because they have stuff like that. Like I just like that they.
You like the consumer product diversity.
Yeah, I think it's fun. I feel sad that everything's kind of turning into basically the same device with different operating systems.
I feel like there was a time. So I feel like there was a time when I would definitely have agreed with you. But as we get closer to phone, as the processing power and the capabilities of the phones continue to go up, I feel like we're going to reach a point where you kind of like right now we all upgrade our phone every year, every 2 years, every 3 years, depending on contract. I think that's definitely slowing down as the phone's capabilities have kind of plateaued.
Right.
And when that happens, the stuff like the not having the easily replaceable battery and not having additional storage capability and stuff like that is really going to be much more of a problem than it has been in the last. So I guess what I'm saying is I think it's going to be more of a problem for the next 10 years than in the last 10 years. Because like if you look at a 5-year-old phone, which would be what, an iPhone 4 now? I don't know why I'm still getting notifications here. You're in Do Not Disturb laptop. It's okay, Joey. Yeah, I don't think that stuff mattered as much when the capabilities of the phones were increasing, so that you were rewarded. Like there was a reason to upgrade every couple of years as the cameras were getting better and as the internet connection was getting much better. Like I don't think I could use an iPhone 4 now, but I think that there's a pretty real chance that I'd be able to use my 6 Plus, say 3 or 4 years from now, with absolutely no ill effects and really no problems.
I do miss the form factor. I miss the smaller form factor a little bit. I love the big screen, but I just can't. I can't fit it into my goddamn pocket.
Drives
me crazy.
I miss the ability to be able to put it up on its edge because I miss the square edges.
Oh well.
Yeah.
This is
Progress.
This is tangential, but while I was away in Pittsburgh, I realized that I've become much more comfortable with FaceTime than I ever have before.
Oh.
It's been around for a long time, but I've never really felt like I knew what I was supposed to be doing, holding a phone, talking to someone who's looking back at me. But as you go away from your kids, and you have a way to see them when you're out of town, freaking awesome. I just want to say, FaceTime, big thumbs up.
I FaceTime with my dog.
Really?
No kidding.
I do.
Can he see the screen?
She does not.
Okay.
She has no idea what's happening.
Yeah. She's
But I
just
like
confused
it.
and
It's for me.
scared.
It's
yeah.
really for me.
No,
She's
no.
not scared. She just lays there.
How does she
Okay.
answer the phone?
Her little
With her
wet
paw,
nose.
dude.
Yeah.
That's
her
amazing.
little nose. No,
Yeah.
not really. Not really. That'd be amazing, though. I should teach her to do that.
My feeling about FaceTime has changed dramatically since I had a kid. I mean, we use FaceTime on a weekly or daily basis to talk to aunts and uncles and cousins and grandparents and all that stuff. And like it's become my preferred way to have a moment of like a real-time chat with somebody.
Yeah.
Because I'd much rather be able to see facial expressions. I feel like they're much shorter because you kind of get to the point faster.
Mm-hmm. Do you call? This is very personal.
Yeah.
Do you call your wife when you're away?
I call her Gina. No, yes. I mean, well,
Because
so now I call.
travel. Go ahead.
Well, now I call. Yeah, because I call her and we talk, and I usually talk to my kid.
You have a child.
Yeah,
that's different. So when I'm away, Ryan and I never talk on the phone. We just text.
You just text
Right.
all the
Yeah,
time.
back and forth.
Yeah.
But then a couple days ago, I was in Utah for Nerdtacular, and I just felt like FaceTiming. So I sent him a FaceTime. He's like, "This is weird," and I was like, "I know, it's kind of fun, right? Show me
Yeah.
the dog now."
yeah. It's exactly.
How that went.
But I mean, so that's kind of it, right? Like yeah. I mean, yes. So you're right. When I need to talk to Gina, I usually send her a text. When I need to talk to my daughter, when I want to talk to my daughter, it's always FaCetime because she's functionally illiterate as a
There you go.
2.5-year-old.
Yeah. She can't quite text yet.
Yeah, but she's really into FaceTime. She gives kisses in the whole 9 yards. It's very sweet.
Cute.
You know what's even better though is than calling is FaceTime audio, but that always trips people up because they don't use FaceTime audio. It's always their first time, but it sounds remarkable.
Have you turned on voice over LTE?
Can I do that?
Yes. Do you not know this? This is a hot tip.
On AT&T? I can do that.
Oh, maybe.
Right.
It's worth trying. If you go into your cellular settings, let's see, we'll all go do this at the same
all
time.
do it.
Go to general settings, and I think it's cellular. Yep. Enable LTE, and if you have voice and data there, it will let you use the higher bitrate audio for your voice calls. It's only cell to cell or cell to landline.
Where did you go? Cellular to where?
Enable LTE.
Okay.
And
what
it should be voice and data.
Yeah, I do.
You've already
I have
done it.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had that too.
Okay, so then you're good.
No,
you're
it
already
doesn't-
doing
no,
it.
it doesn't sound right. It sounds like old school cellular phone
It only
calls.
sounds like old school cellular phone calls because you're calling other people who haven't flipped the switch too.
No, I never flipped that switch.
Oh.
It was just like that.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
The nice thing about that for Verizon users is you can be on the phone and use the internet at the same time,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
a big deal.
Yeah.
Netflix announced their new maternity and paternity program, which I think is fabulous.
I think it's pretty great, but I've heard a lot of people kind of dissing it, and I'm not really sure why.
So this is more in line with what a lot of the socialist countries in Northern Europe do. But they're offering a year of basically unlimited time off after you have a kid or adopt a kid, whether you're a mother or a father, which I think is lovely. They said they're doing this because it keeps their employees happy. They're not even making, like right now, if you have a kid and you want to continue drawing a salary and you have to take like FMLA time or something like that, generally you have to go through the disability office and do all that stuff. And it's a huge pain in the ass and takes a lot of time when you probably don't have a lot of time to spare. And I mean, I was lucky enough that we worked someplace that they were like, look, take 2 months, 3 months, whatever you want. And I took a month when my daughter was born, and then took another couple of weeks because I had to have my appendix out, and then took another month at the end of that first year. And like that's time you're never going to have again.
Right.
Right. It made me happier when I came back to work. If I had come back to work after 5 days of being off for paternity leave, I would have wanted to cut myself every day, and my wife probably would have been broken at the same time.
So I went to go look at the complaint of my friend Megan, who tweeted about this, and she said that it felt like unlimited vacation, which sounds great, but then in practice just turns out to be less, more stressful vacation. Because when you have vacation dates planned out, you take them and you log off, hopefully. That's
you
the
should.
plan. But if you have unlimited vacation, sometimes maybe it feels like you don't ever really have vacation. I'm not sure if I follow. I that's her logic, but I don't know if that would actually be true.
I think it depends on the corporate culture.
Yeah.
Right. Like we have unlimited vacation where we were, and when we started doing that, I was worried about it because I felt like, oh, right, this is just another way to say you have all the vacation you want, but you're never going to be able to take it.
But you never actually have vacation.
Right.
Yeah.
And that has absolutely not been the case so far. If they're going to give people grief when they do this, then absolutely I agree. But I feel like, Netflix is in a financial position, I would think at this point, that they can, treat their relatively small number of employees well, And that's probably a good thing for everybody.
Sounds remarkable.
Yeah.
It says parents can return part-time, full-time, or return and then go back out as needed. We'll just keep paying them normally, eliminating the headache of switching to state or disability pay.
Plus, if you're getting your job done, if you're doing your work, but I guess
Right.
that's maybe where the idea of it never really being vacation kind of comes into play.
Well, I think the point here is that they're saying, look, we'll figure it out, right?
Yeah.
It's on us to figure it out, not you to figure it out.
Right. Take what you need.
Yeah. Which, again, I think you have to be in a company that has a pretty solid financial underpinning to do that. But, I mean, it's a good thing. And,
But, it kind of makes me think of as a freelancer, which I am 100%. I can take vacation whenever I want, but I don't really feel like I ever really have days off.
Right.
Because I'm constantly hustling and trying to work and
Never
get
stop
gigs.
hustling.
Never stop.
Yeah.
Can't stop, won't stop. But
Yeah.
it's, but I do. Even when I go on vacation, I'm still answering emails. I'm still doing stuff
Right.
because that's my only bread and butter. But I think it would be different at a big company where I know things are being handled and it's not going to fall apart without me for a few days.
have you always been a freelancer?
I've been a freelancer. I
Since
worked.
CNET?
I was part-time. I was a full-time contractor at Future. So I worked 4 out of 5 days of the week, and then the Monday I shot Texilla.
Oh, right. You guys used to work together.
Yeah,
I made Veronica famous. I put her in video games.
Ooh.
that is true. They were awesome. Have you gone back and watched the music video or the commercial for
Death Orb?
Death Orb
Yeah.
recently? Every once in a while it circles back around and it comes up on my YouTube suggestions.
Veronica did the lyrics. She sang the lyrics to this promotional.
Death Orb.
Yeah, this promotional
Nice.
song. It's quite awesome.
I remember playing Death Orb. I helped you beta test Death Orb, as I recall. Mm-hmm. You said, hey, can you come up? I want you to just check out this thing that I've done. And then I was like, oh, this is pretty good. This works. This is a game.
Yep.
But but I've been freelance since then.
Yeah.
Essentially, I've been freelance since I left Mahalo. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's funny because we had Carl Merriam, who is a Lego adult fan of Lego, who ended up working as a Lego designer on the show a few weeks ago, and he talked about what it's like to live in Denmark, and they have a very, very more, I would say, more progressive view of work-life balance that aligns more closely with the rest of the world than, say, North America. Like if you look at our policies for paternity and maternity and all that stuff, we're on the list with like undeveloped countries in sub-Saharan Africa, not the developed world. So
It takes a certain amount of trust, I think, of your employees
Right.
to have a progressive policy.
well, but I mean, the other way to look at it is it's about retention too, right? Like
Totally.
the traditional move, the thing that your lawyer tells you to do when you have a kid, if you want to quit your job afterwards, or if you want to spend the first year, which a lot of people like to do with their new kid, is that they will take the 3 months that they get from the state, and then they have to quit after that because there's no other way. And like if you're in a job that you love, but you want to spend that year with your kid, then this gives you the ability to do both. Which means that if you're somebody that the company actually wants to retain, giving you the year makes sense.
What do they? If you are in a role that's pretty, they need you around. They at least need your brain in
So-
some capacity. What do
right.
they do in that situation?
I would assume that you have a conversation, right?
Yeah.
You come up with hey, like it would be easy for me to do. It would have been easy for my wife to do 1 day a week if the company that she worked for was into that, and she would have totally done that and been happy to come back at the end of the year. But there's no, there's not a good framework for that most places.
Right.
And this, it seems like, gives that and gives the ability to
That's
drop
too
in and
bad.
out as they need. I mean, it makes sense, but we'll see if this is contagious. Hopefully it is.
yeah.
At Gamescom yesterday, or the day before, Microsoft announced that Xbox One users who have one of those over-the-air antennas.
What is Gamescom?
Oh, it's the big gaming convention in
Cologne.
Leipzig. No,
It used to be in Leipzig.
I think it's in Is it not in Leipzig
I thought,
anymore?
is Cologne nice or is Leipzig nice?
I don't know.
It's
Anyway,
in-
it's in Germany.
Is it run by one of the major console vendors, or
No.
it's independent?
Yes.
Okay,
It's like E3.
got it.
And,
it is Leipzig.
Yes, nailed it. And a lot of stuff is announced there. So Microsoft had their big. Actually, the new World of Warcraft expansion is going to be announced there. And
Are you
not
still
at-
playing that?
Not at BlizzCon. I've moved on to Heroes of the Storm. I'm a HOTS player
HOTS?
now. Yeah, I'm a HOTSer.
Is it good?
I love it.
Really?
It's so fun. I actually canceled my World of Warcraft subscription again.
Wow.
I got back in for Warlords and
Okay.
did all my garrison stuff and worked through it. Got to 100. And then I was like, meh. And I got busy again, so
Yeah.
I like HOTS because you can just jump in for a couple rounds.
Yeah.
You don't feel like you have to be super invested. And even though all my friends are now way higher level than I am because I haven't had time to play recently, it's still fun because you get matched up with players who are, same level, similar skill set. So it's not too bad.
So when I was cleaning out my garage a few weeks ago, I found a box that had 5 or 6 collector's editions, WoW collector's editions that I
I have all
never
mine.
used.
Oh, really?
Right. And I was getting ready to throw them out. My next door neighbor's kid came over and was like, "Hey, you shouldn't do that. You should look." And I went, and they're like, apparently the pets are highly desirable.
Yeah, the pets are worth a lot of money.
Yeah,
on
I
eBay.
didn't realize that.
So are you going to sell them? Or are you going to hold on to
feel
them?
I feel like they're not going to continue appreciating.
You didn't give them to the
You
kid?
should.
He doesn't
did
play. His parents don't let him play.
You should. So we've been doing these eBay vendor things
Yeah.
where you send away a box of stuff and a professional seller like sorts through it and makes the page for it and does the whole thing and then keeps like a percentage of the profit.
Interesting. I would love to have a referral to that because I feel like if I put up, I feel like that's a high risk thing to sell on eBay, right? Because
Yeah.
somebody buys it,
Like, I don't
uses
know how
the
to do
code.
that stuff.
Yeah,
I
but
just-
yeah.
I'm not good with dealing with that kind of thing, like managing eBay auctions and,
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff. So giving it to a professional and giving them part of the profit is like, just get it out of my house. Just
Yeah.
get all this stuff out of my house.
Good to know.
Yeah, I'll send you the
I
email.
think I picked them up off the free table when we were at Future because apparently they sent a ton of them over and nobody would pick them up. And I was like, oh, I play WoW. I'll use these.
I probably left
and then
a
I
couple
never
there.
put them in. Yeah.
Back in the day.
Oops. Okay, so yeah, Gamescom is, but the neat thing about Gamescom is it's open to the public. So it's people from Germany and across Europe come and see games. So it's like E3, but
Open.
You can go look at stuff and you can go wait in lines and all that. Xbox Back Compat, they gave out more details in their keynote for that as well. It's going to be 100 games at
100
launch
games,
this fall in November. They are all future Games with Gold titles for the 360. So those are the games that you get if you have an Xbox Live Gold account every month. You'll be able to download those and play those on your Xbox One. It seems pretty good.
But the OTA stuff, I mean, I'm not
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
we skipped
market
that.
for the OTA tuner anyway, or the.
You
So
don't want to
get-
watch TV coming across terrestrial airwaves.
Yes.
You're not a fan of the FCC, huh?
I have. What do we have? We have Wave, I think. Do we have
You've
Wave?
cut cable.
No, we have cable.
Oh, you have cable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But can you use it with? You can't use it if you have a cable
Can't
box.
use it with cable. Well, you can still plug your cable box through the Xbox, which is a
But you
bad
can't-
idea.
But you can't DVR it.
You can't DVR the cable box.
Right.
But presumably, if you have a cable box, then the cable box is the DVR. if
I
you're
have
into
it.
that.
Yeah, we have a TiVo.
Yeah.
Which I hate. I hate
What?
the TiVo. I hate the TiVo. I hate the interface. I hate the stupid sounds it makes. I hate pretty much everything about TiVo.
Have you
I think-
always hated TiVo?
What is?
Yeah, I mean, I love TiVo as a concept.
You're the only person I've ever met
I
that
just I
doesn't
hate
like TiVo.
donk, donk.
I love that. It sound makes me happy. I'm smiling just hearing you say donk,
You
donk,
are.
donk.
I'm sick of the TiVo. I prefer I like watching things through the Xbox now.
Oh, well,
Like through like HBO Go or Hulu or whatever.
This is the big thing. Like, they sent the Xbox out. They sold the Xbox. It has the HDMI pass through, so you can plug your cable box in. It has literally become the place that we watch all TV, except for stuff that we rent from iTunes.
Yeah. If you do cut the cord though, I would do that. Just use the
OTA?
Xbox like exclusively.
Well, I mean,
Maybe the
but my
OTA.
TiVo can do that. I love my TiVo.
Ugh,
What kind of bad person doesn't like their TiVo?
me.
It
me.
has
I'm
the
a bad
friendly
person.
remote.
We use the Harmony one.
Fair. Okay.
So.
Yeah, that's a friendly
It's okay.
remote.
It's it's
Yeah.
friendly-ish.
Okay.
It could be better.
I don't even know how to parse this.
It's
What-
fine. I don't like the interface. I think the interface sucks. I think it's ugly, and I don't like it.
Do you not like the HD interface?
Yeah, no. What do
The
you
one
mean?
with do you have the one with the pictures across the top?
Yeah.
Like all the other things you can
Yeah,
watch?
it's stupid. I don't want to watch any of that stuff.
Well, that's a fair point. Like, that's a fair criticism.
I don't want to see that. I don't care. I know what I want to watch. That's why I have season passes for things.
Okay. I mean,
Folded. Ugh.
here's the thing that annoys me
So
about
ugly.
it is that it hasn't, like, I want that to be the center place that I watch all TV, so I want it to be the thing that the Xbox ended up
Xbox
being.
looks much nicer.
Yeah, but Xbox, pause. Xbox, pause.
I get happy every time it says hello to me.
When my
Every
daughter,
time.
I do say hi, Xbox.
I'm like, hi. I wave to
Xbox.
it. Yeah.
When my daughter walks in, you can tell which voice recognition things are good
Mm-hmm.
by the number of times that she addresses them when she's trying to use them. Because she doesn't have the enunciation to do it yet. But she walks in, she says, Alexa, and she just says Alexa once. But when she tries to use the Xbox, she says Xbox like 4 times in a row before before, because that's what we do. She's just mimicking us.
Do you like your Alexa?
Alexa's neat. Yeah.
I want one.
Yeah. It's kind of useless, but it's also not.
No. Alexa's great.
It's
very useful. It depends. I mean, and we use it for, my whole family uses it for different things. The kids will use it to ask for jokes or for math questions. My wife uses it to reorder, soap and to play NPR. I use it for playing music during dinner.
That's smart.
It's great.
Yeah. My wife uses it. My wife uses it for laundry timers. Like our washing machine is far enough away that we can't hear it when it buzzes. So she comes back in and says, Alexa, set a timer for 32 minutes, and then it buzzes when it's time for her to go, switch a load or whatever.
Don't you find that the DVR just is a time sink? I mean, we cut the cable, I don't even remember, like 7 years ago. I haven't had TiVo since then. But when I did, I certainly was watching a lot more TV. And I was just surfing whatever I had watched on recorded. And it was just like, there went my afternoon or my evening.
I just feel bad for the amount of money I'm wasting on stuff that I never watch. Like, Gina watches TV still some, but I'm definitely not getting whatever it is, $120 worth of value out of the cable plus the TiVo box and all that stuff.
Yeah, there's still, I still watch stuff on AMC. I still watch stuff on, Discovery. There's still things I watch that I can't really get reliably.
Well, AMC comes on iTunes immediately, almost.
Yeah, but you still have to pay for it.
Well, but if you're not paying for cable, who cares? $30 twice a year.
I can find other ways to not pay for things, but I still like to
enough.
have it, a little more accessible.
Fair point. OTA users get DVR functionality. That means if you have the Xbox tuner or that Hauppauge, the one that's the same as it's the rebadged Xbox tuner or not rebadged Xbox tuner, you can get DVR functionality on over the air. So, I think that makes it a little bit more of a compelling thing it makes the guide make more sense and a lot of the stuff that kind of didn't make sense at first with the Xbox and TV viewing, I think. The first drug made by a 3D printer was approved by the FDA.
Oh, PLA or ABS?
I think it's neither.
I would hope so.
But it seems like it's a fused deposition thing where they're putting powder out, and it's probably SLA actually, because isn't that sintering? Or no, it's SLS, selective laser sintering. So they're laying the powder out, they're blasting it to create the pill, and the reason they're doing this is it lets them leave. It lets them put a grid-like structure inside the pill so it dissolves very, very quickly.
Okay, my immediate question was going to be why? Why are they doing
So
that?
it's a seizure medication.
Okay.
And I think it's the kind of thing that you have to take immediately when you think you're going to have a seizure. And the faster you can get it absorbed into your body, the better off it is. So because they're able to make this kind of matrix in the pill, it hits your tongue and it dissolves immediately. And they showed, like they have pictures of Petri dishes at different times with the traditional medicine and this laid out in it, and it seems like this almost just disappears immediately.
So they're printing the capsule.
They're printing. It's actually a tablet.
A tablet.
Yeah.
Okay, and is the actual medicine part of the material that they're printing?
So
with?
I assume the medicine is the powder, is what I could tell. Yeah,
right.
It seemed neat. The MPA is going for SOPA-like powers in a court case now. Did you read this article on ours the other day?
Negative.
There is, they sued MovieTube and a dozen affiliated sites. MovieTube is a place, it's like YouTube for pirated movies. So basically, SOPA, you all remember SOPA, the day the internet turned black way back in 2012. It didn't pass it didn't become legislative. It didn't become law, obviously. But they basically, the MPA is now suing this company that owns MovieTube and a bunch of other stuff. And they're asking for, in form of a court order, most of the powers that were part of SOPA. So I'm going to go ahead and just read this from ours. The studios are asking for one court order to bind every domain name registrar, registry, hosting provider, payment processor, caching service, advertising network, social network, and bulletin board, in short, the entire internet, to block and filter a site called MovieTube. If they succeed, the studios could set a dangerous precedent for quick website blocking with little or no court supervision, and with internet service and infrastructure companies conscripted as enforcers. This precedent would create a powerful tool of censorship, and we think it should be called SOPA power, given its similarity to the ill-fated SOPA bill.
Yeah, and then what's his name? Mitch Stoltz from the
EFF.
EFF says, if the court signs this proposed order, the MPA companies will have the power to force practically every internet company within the reach of U.S. law to help them disappear the MovieTube websites. Regardless of whether those sites are engaged in copyright infringement or not, this is a scary amount of power to confer on the movie studios. And it looks even worse at scale. If orders like this become the norm, internet companies large and small will have to build infrastructure resembling the Great Firewall of China in order to comply.
Right. It's a lot like the EU's right to be forgotten law, if you think about it. The right to be forgotten is obviously on the end of the person making the request, not the person who's been infringed. But I mean, the scary part about this isn't that they can use it to take down piracy websites, which is, in the great scheme of things, probably not a big loss to humanity. The scary part is that like DMCA takedowns, eventually you'll see them being used for censorship. Like we have had DMCA takedowns for reviews that the company didn't like before.
Yeah, that's
right.
So messed up.
Right.
Yeah.
So stuff like that is an infringement on free speech and is a super bad news. So we'll keep you updated on this. I think that there's going to be a ruling at some point soon. I can't imagine, unless they just lucked out and got a judge that fully does not understand how the internet works, I can't imagine that this is going to squeak by a judge. Or that won't be challenged immediately in a ton of appellate courts. So we'll see. Next, this is a huge deal. There was a Verge article yesterday about the MLB's tech team, and I think it's called the BAM, getting the deal to distribute NHL content across their network. So I read the article this morning. The BAM is a subsidiary of Major League Baseball, I think.
Yeah, MLBAM.
MLBAM, yeah. And they're the ones that figured out, like they started off, their original mandate was to build websites for all the baseball teams in like early 2000s. Then they handled ticketing and they experimented with video and all this stuff. But if you remember in like 2007 or 2008, the World Series, you could go buy it was actually after the iPhone came out, after the App Store opened. You could go download the MLB app, and then you could buy either MLB TV or I think originally just like playoff packages. So you'd see all the games that don't get aired in your area, or for games that are in your area, you'd see that cool four pack of images that were, like the pitcher's cam, the batter's cam, the whole outfield, and all the stuff that you normally don't see on TV, or that they cut back and forth between on TV. And then they launched MLB TV, which is, I think, pretty widely regarded as the best of the internet streaming sports packages, both in terms of breadth and quality of the video, and then also the quality of the overall experience and all the stuff that they add.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool because they've built out this incredible infrastructure for content, and they've been talking to TV partners as well, like non-sports related stuff. And yeah, they're planning, I believe, to branch out the Advanced Media Group into a separate company, separate from MLB, which maybe you said that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so NHL would be a huge part of that if they signed up.
Well, so they're the people that built the WWE app and that infrastructure a year and a half ago, I guess now. They also did HBO Now. So
that was the big news piece from earlier this year.
Yeah.
was the HBO Now stuff.
But it seems like they're the go-to people for massive scale video streaming. Like if you look at so HBO Go was built, I think, by a team at HBO or contractors, and then HBO Now they built at seemed like a really low cost in 3 months, and then went live basically with their infrastructure. So over the last 10 years, they built data centers and with high-speed connections to like local endpoints all around the world. And when they flipped the switch for HBO Now, they had a massive load because it was Game of Thrones premiere, and it was, I think, True Detective premiere too, right, or something.
Yeah, was that the same night? No, I don't think so. It was Silicon Valley.
Which is funny because that Silicon Valley season was about streaming video on the internet.
I know.
But yeah, so the upshot is they've done all that stuff without hiccups. And
that was the big stress test.
Yeah.
The big, we're going live with these 2 huge premieres.
And
How is it going to go?
It was free for everybody that had an Apple TV so it was really exciting. It's really interesting to me to see this happen, and that it's nice to see the people who first, like when you looked at what the NFL was doing with online streaming and how they couldn't figure out blackouts, so they just didn't stream anything, and you couldn't watch, you had to get DirecTV if you wanted to watch football games, basically. Watching MLB AM be rewarded for doing stuff the right way and doing it well is really exciting. And I think they're going to start doing original content and maybe even like working with ESPN and stuff like that to do over the top ESPN and other ABC properties or Disney properties. So yeah, that's and then the last thing. Did you guys read Rob Reinhardt's post?
Skimmed it.
So Rob
So
Reinhardt
bad.
he's the guy who came up with Soylent. Originally as a joke and then something that was not a joke. And I don't think it maybe was I actually I should take that back. I originally thought that his post was a joke, but I think he might just be earnest and a little bit off. So Soylent, if you don't know, is a food replacement. It's all the stuff that you need in a kind of foul-tasting milkshake that you eat 2 or 3 times a day instead of food. And he posted this thing on Tuesday, the day before Soylent 2.0 came out, the liquid form of Soylent, about his new no alternating current lifestyle. So alternating current, in case you don't know at home, is the electricity that comes from the walls, right? It's you plug something in, it uses alternating current, your lights turn on, your refrigerator works, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And he replaced all the stuff in his house that used AC, like got rid of the refrigerator, got rid of his food making appliances, and has this whole post about how he's living basically off of what is essentially a giant car battery and a 100-watt solar panel, I think, the kind that you put on like the roof of your RV or, that you use to charge cell phones and stuff like that. He went down this whole. At first, I thought it was a joke when I was reading this post. It seems like it is the work of The Onion or something similar.
No, but very close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He talks about getting rid of the kitchen, all the stuff in his kitchen, because he's like, I find it. What is he? I find it presumptive.
He says, first, I never cook. I am all for self-reliance, but repeating the same labor over and over for the sake of existence is the realm of robots.
It's kind of a grim way to look at cooking.
What?
Well, maybe he wasn't cooking very interesting things.
I'm sure. I mean, he made Soylent. He thinks Soylent is a perfectly viable alternative to eating food. Of course. You always hear about people that are taste deaf, right? They have no ability to taste and smell. Maybe he's one of those people, so he doesn't know what everybody's missing.
I found his clothes solution interesting. He says that he buys clothes so cheaply from China that he can afford to wear them once or twice and then dispose of them.
Bespoke. Yeah.
He uses a butane stove to make coffee and tea.
That seems a little dangerous from a carbon monoxide standpoint, but okay. I mean, all the butane stoves I've ever had lead with, don't use this inside. He doesn't drink beer anymore because you have to keep that refrigerated, and the refrigerator is one of the big power hogs in his house. So he got rid of all the food making stuff in the kitchen. Doesn't use the blender because he has Soylent 2.0, so he doesn't even need power for that. He replaced his big desktop computer with an Intel Nuke, and that and the monitors draw 72 watts, which his solar panel will drive no problem.
He doesn't drive a car.
Drive a car.
He only uses Uber.
Right.
Because even charging a Tesla, will burn oil over time.
Right.
We still are using fossil fuels.
7% of our power comes from nuclear in California, and the rest is fossil and wind, right?
Right. But that way he doesn't have to worry about being distracted by a cell phone while he's driving.
Right.
He can read a book.
He's kind of like let's see. The last one was the clothes thing was astounding to me. I feel like there was one more part in there that I kind of just was like, no, you got to be kidding.
He's excited about Skylake because that'll give him more efficiency.
Right.
What's that?
Skylake is Intel's next chipset. CPU and chipset.
Yeah.
It's basically another. There's just the next step on the path.
That's the next nanometer down.
I don't think that they did the nanometer down for Skylake. I had it on the list originally. I didn't have time to read the article, and we didn't get a kit.
But
so
it's
I
more
don't know the
efficient.
details. Anand liked it.
We're kind of making fun of him. He's kind of a weird dude, It's kind of intense.
I think this is when people mock people who live in Northern California.
Mm-hmm.
This is what
this
they
guy.
assume. Of course, he lives in LA.
I don't know. I mean, in terms of it being an experiment, why not try this for a month? It sounds interesting to me.
Like, yes.
I mean, he's still on the internet, so he's not off the grid. But power-wise, he's going off the grid in the middle of the grid.
Well, he's not plugged into cable or anything.
Right.
He's using a MiFi for internet.
But he has a phone.
He has a phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's impossible to do completely what he wants to do, I think, and still work in a technology environment.
Fax machine. That's kind of off the grid, right?
Yeah, that's pretty off the grid. You still need a phone. You still need a phone line for a fax machine or an internet connection.
That's true. I mean, in a lot of ways, what he's doing is very analogous to like the Whole Earth catalog stuff from the late 70s, right? Like move out into the country, build a geodesic dome house, put a composting toilet in the backyard, and let nature work itself out. But yeah, like you said, Veronica, in a place where he's working in a tech firm, presumably, I can't imagine that nobody wants to go to the guy's house with the composting toilet. I mean, he's 2 steps away. He also, I know what it was. He did something to slow down his gut bacteria so he wouldn't poop as much.
What?
Really? Wow.
You can do that?
Biohacking.
Yeah, what was it? I can't remember how he did it. Somebody tweeted it to me after I tweeted this yesterday incredulously, and then it got lost in the barrage of replies about Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, maybe,
Very sad.
but not really getting divorced.
Oh, they're not?
No, he posted on Facebook that it was absolute hogwash.
Oh, good.
So
I don't
then
know why. I find that comforting.
Does he have a Twitter account?
Will Smith?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
That's the problem. If he had a Twitter account, I would not have issues with this.
Got it.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, Skylight K came out on August 5th. Basically, there's a 6-week window while they're waiting for official dates. I'm just going to skip to the chase. I'm reading the Nantech article. Conclusions. Wow, that's a 35-page CPU piece. There are 2 new processors, the i7-6700K and the i5-6600K, a new Z170 motherboard chipset with a bunch of motherboards on the market, and it uses DDR4 memory. This is the update for the mainstream segment. So this isn't the high-end like hexa-core and quad-core chipset. This is for quad cores and dual cores for normal people to buy, probably with integrated graphics. And it is using the 14-nanometer process, which I think is not new. I think they were using 14-nanometer before. No. I'm sorry. Broadwell was 22. And then Broadwell came down to 14. So yeah, there we go. It's not earth-shattering. 5.7% increased performance over Haswell using the same clock speed.
Okay.
So yeah, here's the thing, is it seems like it's the replacement for Sandy Bridge, for people who are. It's an upgrade for people who are on Sandy Bridge, which was 2012 or 2011. Now is like that's where your sweet spot for upgrading starts. We'll talk. I think you guys will probably talk about more next week with Norm's back, because he might have a kid at home. I don't know.
Okay.
Let's take a quick break and talk about what we've been testing. Another word from our sponsor. So once upon a time, I built a website. I was in college. I had this website, and I had a webcam that hooked up to a computer, and it took a picture of my fish tank every 30 seconds and uploaded it to the website. People would watch my fish swim around in 2 frames a minute mode. But it was an enormous pain. I had to write HTML files. I had to upload them to a server. I had to make them the right permissions and all that stuff. Squarespace takes all that difficulty away. You can build a site that looks professionally designed regardless of your skill level. You get 24-hour tech support 7 days a week via their online chat. And the best part is it's not terribly expensive. It starts at $8 a month, and you get a free domain if you sign up for a year. So you can start your free trial today with no credit card required at squarespace.com. When you decide to sign up, make sure to use the offer code TEST to get 10% off of your first purchase. Squarespace. Build it, beautiful. And we're back. Everything's going to hell today on the there's too many buttons.
Veronica, didn't you tweet this thing about some sort of gadget where you could throw food or treats at your dog over the internet?
Wait, what?
Yeah, that was an Engadget article actually. Let me pull it up. Yeah, there was it's a pet cam essentially.
Yeah.
And it allows you to also draw your animal to the camera by flinging food at them
That's
or
super
into
cool.
the space. And
That
then
makes
the cats
sense.
come and eat, and you can reward them or give them treats.
Did you get it?
No, I haven't
Oh.
gotten it yet. Robbie actually did the review for it. Let me see if I can find it somewhere. But I like stuff like that. We have a drop cam, or sorry, Nest Cam.
Yeah.
We have a Nest Cam at home now, but it's facing out into the street. It's not looking at the cat.
So the
there
problem-
we go.
the
Petsy
problem-
treat cam.
The problem we had with the drop cam or just any kind of webcam at the house for the pet is that unless they're enclosed like in a fish tank, you can't see them.
No, I
They're
mean they're
never there.
everywhere.
Yeah.
They're sleeping somewhere. They're wandering about. So that's why the treat comes in.
Yeah.
Because you can attract their attention. Just make sure they're alive. I
Chlo-
guess.
Chloe's superpower is to make sure that she's never where the camera's aimed. Like that's her move. She just is like, oh, you're aiming the camera. I'm gonna go in another room now.
Is Dropcam or whatever, Nest Cam still the camera to buy?
People are complaining a little bit about the new iteration.
How so?
I don't
know what the
know. I
complaint
don't
is.
really know what they're upset about because I think it works great.
So Norm,
I think it's the mobile app.
Norm tested it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of you use the Nest mobile app now instead
Right.
of the old Dropcam app. I was never super keen on the Dropcam app, so losing that didn't really hurt my feelings much. The big problem I have with it is that it's great if you want to like have a security camera, but just to monitor, like if you have a convenience store and want to make sure there's video of you getting stuck up twice a month,
Yeah.
it's great for that because you can pipe it offline. The service that lets you do DVR functionality is really expensive. I think it's like $15 a month. It's substantial, especially given what you get out of it. There's a lag, so if you want to use it as like a baby monitor or something that's real time,
Right.
the time it takes you to open up the phone, unlock the phone, find the app, launch the app to log in, the app to connect, like by that time you've already if you heard a thunk and screaming, you've already gone into the room to find out what was going on. It's yeah, I mean that's basically the gist. Is
Got it.
that lag, and then there's a few seconds lag on the actual video itself, even once you connect.
Yeah, I do like the DVR functionality of that, though.
Oh, it's great.
We use it, yeah. I was able to see who in my neighborhood left me a passive-aggressive note on my car.
Really?
One day. Yes, I haven't been able to hunt her down yet because I didn't recognize her. And so now I have to, what happens is the spot in front of my house, this is a very big tangent, the spot in front of my house is it's not big enough for two cars. And so
Oh,
usually when I
you're one
park
of
in
those
front of
people.
my house, it's not big enough. I mean, I have a pretty small car.
Yeah.
You could fit like my car and a smart car, and it would be good.
Yeah.
Or like my car and a motorcycle.
Can you
But-
block the driveway?
I do sometimes.
Okay.
I park into it. If someone's parking in that spot and I need to park somewhere, I'll block my own driveway and it's fine.
Yeah.
But to the untrained eye, to perhaps someone who doesn't live on our street, you would see me if I was parked in the middle and be like, that asshole's taking up 2 parking spots.
Oh.
And so my car was parked there for a couple days. And I try to move it every 72 hours because that's the rule around here.
Yeah.
And someone left a note being like, you should move your car up so 2 cars can fit. And I can't do it. I can't respond. I can't say no, dummy. It's not big enough for 2 cars.
Right.
And so, you know what I did? I was like, fine, just for appearances, I'll move my car forward. And then I proceeded on the drop cam to watch not 1, but 2 cars bump my car trying to fit into that
This
non
is what happens when you're nice.
And I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
So no more Mrs. Nice Guy.
So have you heard, do you guys listen to Radiolab?
Yes.
So did you hear the one about persistent surveillance? The company Persistent
Yes.
Surveillance?
Yeah.
I listened to this yesterday when I was in the car. Fascinating.
Really interesting stuff. Yeah.
So what they do is they fly up an airplane very high above cities. It's high enough that they have a 25 square mile coverage area. They take pictures every second. The pictures are high resolution, but you can still make out details of things. And you think, oh, pictures every second, what are you going to get from that? But they originally developed this to find out where people who were placing IEDs in Afghanistan and Iraq were going after, or where they came from, or where they were going after they
Yeah.
placed them. So they see where the IED explosion happens, and then they go look at the footage and they zoom in and they see the car that pulls up 2 hours before see that car, go back to see where it came from, go forward to see where it goes afterwards, and then they dispatch Marines or special forces to go kill those guys.
Or drones.
Yeah, or
just
drones,
drop.
whatever.
Yeah.
It's like DVRing a city.
So
Yeah, they have like a knob that you can turn and go
Yeah.
forward and back in time and just
Yeah.
see like the dots converging in certain places.
and it's not like resolution. The resolution's not high enough that you can look up and see a face or anything like that. It's purely okay. These people were here. They got in this car, and then they follow the car. But at 1 second resolution, you can follow the car indefinitely. Dayton, Ohio, they tried to deploy it as a crime fighting measure in Dayton, Ohio, and people were really upset. They did it for 5 days. They caught some people that had broken into houses and stuff like that. And it gives you a really incredibly fast turn on something that would normally be a hopeless investigation. I just thought like the drop cam is the drop cam
People
for the city.
were upset because of privacy concerns.
Well, yeah, because once you the thought is it's the same as with
It's Big Brother.
yeah, once you have that data, you can use it for. There are a lot of really good uses that are good and a net good for all society. There are also a lot of net uses that are a net bad for all society. And once you have that data, who knows whether you use it for good or for evil? But I thought the story had an interesting turn because I would encourage everybody to listen to it. The episode is "Eye in the Sky," I think, and it was a few weeks ago. But they rolled the same technology out in Juarez, Mexico, where they have something like 300 murders a month.
Yeah, that was nuts.
And talked about actually using it to break up a whole cartel.
Yeah.
So they were able to trace crimes back and figure out where the hot points were, and then presumably go do something about it. But I don't know. They didn't get into that. It was fascinating. I
love Radiolab.
Radiolab's fabulous.
Yeah.
I'm of real mixed minds on surveillance. Like on one hand, I totally think having a webcam up to let you see who's at your front door, especially if you have like a gate and a door situation, is a good thing, right? Because I don't want to like system of people who are making accessories. So if you want to have like an outdoor, a weatherproof outdoor box for it, you can.
You can do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although worth mentioning, the old drop cam and the new drop cam, different sizes and don't fit, and the accessories aren't compatible.
Okay.
What have you been testing, Jeremy?
A number of things. I got my electronic object. I don't even know what it's called. The electric object.
Mine came yesterday.
Yeah. You know what that is?
No.
It's basically a TV that has been turned into an art piece. So it's a LCD panel that's put into a nice frame. It's relatively thin form factor, and it's wall mountable, and it's meant to go vertically, so it doesn't look like a computer monitor. And then you just plug it in, and it's on Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And then you use the app to submit artwork to it.
Oh, you
But-
got to come to this event. I'll talk to you about this
Yeah.
after.
And it's very cool. It was a Kickstarter
I know. I
that
can't
launched
come.
like a year and a half ago. I mean, it was a while back.
Yeah.
They finally started shipping. It's very, very cool. It's a 1080p panel. Looks pretty good. You can submit your own artwork to it. You can even share artwork. There's certainly going to be some piracy concerns because people can share anything.
Is the LCD close to the glass, or is it? I haven't turned mine on yet.
It doesn't look particularly close. I haven't even taken the plastic sheet
Okay.
off. But it's cool. It's very modern. It's what you would expect in like a tech file home. It's pretty neat.
I was a little bummed that it didn't come with the table mount, since that's what all the pictures
That's
showed.
extra.
I know.
They asked if you wanted that.
Well, I didn't read the email.
I
probably.
didn't want it to table mount it because that would look like you could do that with a monitor. What made this kind of a whole neat thing is the fact that it would go on the wall. So I'm probably going to drill a hole, hide the power cable behind it. What really impressed me when I turned it on is they're using this smart config technology. Have you seen anything that has this? Like you get a new device and it has to get onto your Wi-Fi network.
Yeah.
How do you get it on your Wi-Fi network? Like
Usually-
traditionally, like it has a built-in web server that you have to like join and then log into and teach it what your Wi-Fi settings are. Well, Texas Instruments developed this new technology a couple years ago. It was in the Spark Core.
Oh yeah.
And it's in this too. It uses the same Wi-Fi chip, this like CC3000 or whatever. It's super awesome. It's a complete hack, but it's in a commercially available device. So you just turn it on, and then it monitors all of your web traffic, everything that's like totally encrypted information. It can't deduce anything from those packets that are being sent across your network. But then you launch an app on your phone, which just sends information to your router, which doesn't care about. It's like ignoring everything, but it's just sending those information, and your electric object frame monitoring all those packets looks for like a specific rate of packet sending as like an SOS code Like it's just like Morse code sending of packets. And so when it sees those, it then looks at the length of those packets, and your phone encodes your SSID and the Wi-Fi password into the length of the packet, like that number of bytes.
Objects in a couple of weeks.
What else? I also, my that PortaPie arcade cabinet. I got one of these for it. I actually got 3 of these for it. This is a Bluetooth Nintendo
You're
controller.
kidding me.
That's
so
amazing.
It's perfect because the Nuke has the Bluetooth built into it.
Did they take an old?
No. You buy these. It's like Amazon 8-bit Do gamepad. They come in original NES and Super NES.
Wow.
Form factors.
So they just ripped off the design.
Oh yeah. I don't know how they're getting away with this.
Probably Nintendo doesn't care.
But you can boot it up in different modes.
So these are new? These are not
No, it's brand new.
refurbished?
You can boot it up in like Bluetooth keyboard or Bluetooth gamepad mode, and it works as a Windows joystick controller. I have 3 of them hooked up so we can play King of the Beach volleyball.
Do you and it charges via micro USB?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep. Super cool. Highly recommend it.
That's much better than my current solution with the Retron, which involves sitting on the floor 3 feet from the TV like it's 1985 playing NES games.
Yeah.
Yeah. SNES controllers are surprisingly inexpensive these days. I think I bought one for like $5 or $10 or something the other day off of Amazon.
Yeah.
Like worked. It wasn't new in box or anything, but it came from a place that had tested and refurbed, and they de-yellowed it, the whole thing.
How did you plug it in?
I plugged it in the Retron. It has a SNES port.
Oh, that has a SNES port on
Yeah.
it. Cool.
It has 2 SNES, 2 Genesis, 2 Master System, and 2 NES, I think.
Cool.
Yeah. Veronica, anything you've been into the testing of lately?
Yeah, I'm testing guided meditation.
Really? I've been doing
Yeah.
this.
Really?
Hold on, what's the difference between, I just sit and try not to think of anything for 20 minutes.
Well, guided is when there's actually someone like kind of helping
Okay,
you.
I don't do that.
Okay, so I read this book called 10% Happier,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of my friends are also reading it. And it's a cynic's guide to meditation and mindfulness. So it's kind of like this news anchor Dan Harris from ABC did this whole project basically on figuring out how to not be like miserable and stressed out and angry. And so he went out into the world and talked to all these different religious leaders and people in the meditation community and all this stuff. And he's like, okay, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in a God, but I know there's something here for me that can help me. And so he essentially wrote this book about his process of being a person, a non-believer who wanted to kind of find peace and learn how to sort his thoughts out and figure out how to relax and not have his brain going a million miles per hour all the time.
Yeah.
And so he started looking into meditation, and so they just came out with an app actually that is it's a 2-week class load of daily guided meditations, and it's $25.
Perfect.
And you get a real life daily coach that texts you. He's
What?
Like, so how did things go? Like, what did you have any issues today? How are you feeling?
Oh, that's super cool.
And it's a live person.
Wait,
you can
as part
respond
as part of the app price? You
yeah,
get that?
yeah.
Wow.
And so you can respond back like the other day I was like, well, I had a good session. They're like you start at 5 minutes and then you're working towards 10 minutes
Yeah.
of uninterrupted meditation. And which is a lot harder than it sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I texted him back like, well, it was good, but like I could hear all the sounds in my house and my husband rattling around. And at one point he walked in the room while I was trying to do it and interrupted me. And I was like, so I don't really know how to get into that zone or how to kind of block things out. And he's like, oh, that's really great. That's actually going to be the discussion topic for tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
So stick with it. And tomorrow we'll do it.
What's the name of this?
It's through an app called, through a company called Change Collective, but it's 10% Happier.
Okay.
And I can pull it up and show you.
So I started last month when we were at Comic-Con. I was talking to somebody because I was getting super stressed out.
Yeah.
Just being around that many people all the time. And the person I was talking to was
fine.
like, you should try mindful meditation.
Yeah.
Just go find a quiet place and sit and try not to think for 10 minutes. And here's some exercises
It's
you
really
can do.
hard, and it's a lot of focusing on your breathing and just learning to, when you do get interrupted, just stop and restart. And so that's my course load. Day 3 is today, so I have to find some time, 5 minutes, to just sit and listen to Jeffrey, the meditation leader, like talk about it. And I'm totally a cynic too. This is something I don't need that. That's silly.
Well, so
But it's not. It's good for people like us too.
I mean, the thing I found, my frustration with the whole thing is that it's like 1 out of 5 days I'll really do really well. and then the other 4 I'm kind of just like sitting there trying not to hear the sounds in the
And I think
house.
that's okay.
Right. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not getting all aggro about it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be super chill. But the days that are good, it kind of feels like a Sunday afternoon nap where you have a beer at lunch and then you go take a nap at like 3:00 and you time it just exactly right. So you wake up and you're fresh and bright and it feels like you slept all night, but you're waking up at 3:00, like the days that I hit it, you get that feeling. That feeling is really, really good. So I'm keeping at it specifically because of that.
Yeah, I think we all have kind of, frantic, frenetic minds that we're always thinking about stuff, and we're always online. We're always getting this influx of information and thinking about the next project or the next thing. And I think that's a lot of people out there, obviously. We all have this issue. And so just taking some time to kind of be with yourself and kind of let those things go. I have like anger issues. I've got like anxiety issues.
I can't imagine you have anger issues, Veronica.
Me? Really? Okay. Well, I guess we don't hang out enough.
Okay. Fair point.
But it's like I snap at people sometimes, and it's not cool. So the mindfulness portion is just really learning to respond, not react, and kind of figure out what is happening in your day that's making you have this reaction, and learn to be like, oh, okay, I haven't eaten today. I'm grouchy. Like, I need to go have a snack and get my blood sugar back up. Or,
Right.
I'm frustrated because so-and-so didn't put the toothpaste cap back on, and I've asked them. This is an example.
This is a real example?
Not in my life, but in
I won't tell Ryan
in
if you
the
don't.
app, they
It's all good.
talk about it. Like, oh, your husband leaves the toothpaste cap off, and you told him 1,000,000 times not to do it. So what is it about? That's just something he's going to do. Why do I need to take that personally and kind of internalize it? So it's a lot of rethinking the way we kind of react to things.
It's funny because a lot of the stuff that I've read overlaps well with, like, when I was in college, I went to the doctor to talk about depression, right? And a lot of what we talked about was ways to manage and to be aware of the things that trigger episodes and all that stuff.
Right.
And like it all is applicable and good. So anyway, highly recommended. The name of the app is
10% Happier.
Okay.
The name of the book is 10% Happier by Dan Harris.
cool.
Did you listen? Are you listening to the audiobook?
I listened to the audiobook, and it's great
Are
because
there guided segments in the audiobook?
not in the audiobook.
Okay.
The audiobook is the app is based on the book.
Okay.
So you're not going to find guided meditations in the book.
Got it.
This is like an extension of the book in a way, based on what Dan learned.
And even if you don't want to try the whole guided meditation thing, I highly encourage just to find a quiet place and sit for if you're doing it yourself, I think 15 minutes, because it usually takes me 5 or 8 minutes.
That's a really long time. I suggest starting low, like starting with 5 minutes and working up to it, because you're going to get frustrated and you're going to feel like you're doing it wrong.
That's true.
And if you can feel happy with 5 minutes, you can work from there. So just like feel good about 5 minutes, listen to your breathing.
For me, it takes 5 minutes to be able to stop thinking at all. Right?
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Do what feels good.
Listen to your breath.
Yeah.
Breathe in, breathe out.
I'm gonna have to try this guided thing. This seems a lot easier.
I'm gonna do it. Absolutely.
should try it.
I tried meditation a bit in college, and I didn't get much out of it, to be honest with you. But I studied a lot of Buddhism, and just from a as a student, and I was very, very intrigued by it, and I have a lot of respect for their way of life. So I mean, I would certainly try this.
Yeah.
Well, that many people can't be wrong, right?
No.
Exactly.
I plugged in the Oculus yesterday for the first time in a while.
Oh.
And I tried to get it working on Windows 10 and gave up with that because, by the way, Oculus DK2, the software is not real hot for Windows 10 yet, so you don't have any drivers.
Does it work at all?
There was a Reddit post that had a hack to get extended mode working, but I've always had problems getting. There's two ways for the Oculus to work. One is that it shows up as its own device, and like you turn on a piece of software and it just recognizes it. The other is that it shows up as a secondary desktop on your computer. I've always had bad luck with the secondary desktop way, which is all that works on Windows 10. Luckily, I had upgraded my storage when I upgraded to Windows 10, so I still had my Windows 8 drives as they were before I cloned them over, and just booted back into Windows 8, fired it up, and I tried a couple of things that were pretty astounding. So Project Cars, which is I don't know enough about racing stuff, so I apologize in advance. It looks to me to be similar to something like Forza or Gran Turismo, but probably with a much more accurate physics model and driving model and stuff like that.
Sorry, my parking timer was
No,
over.
it's all good.
It's all good.
So basically, you have a bunch of different kinds of cars. There's everything from like go-karts to street cars, all the way up to like Formula One cars and stuff like that. And there's dozens and dozens of tracks. They added Oculus DK2 support a few weeks ago. And I had missed that, but every once in a while I go and go on Steam and type Oculus and see what pops up.
Right. How deep is the support? Is it support the menus, the whole experience of the game, or only the driving portion?
So it's only the driving portion.
Okay.
It works really well though, because it gives you all the menus happen on the monitor, like on your normal computer monitor.
Oh, cool.
And then when you hit start driving, you just put your goggles and headphones on, and you're good to go. It is right now. There's a little bit of a bug with the way shadows are rendered, so that there's a couple of weird effects that kind of throw you off when you're looking at stuff. But just being in the cockpit of the car, being able to look over and see your rearview mirrors, look down and see when you're driving one of those crazy, I don't even know what kind of cars they are, but like the crazy ones that look like the Batmobile with the insane steering wheel with like all the monitor stuff on the steering wheel.
I'm not a car guy.
Okay, so they have. It's like Ferraris and Audis and stuff like that, like high end, the low cars that have like they're not open wheel. They have like things over the wheels. Maybe they're Le Mans. No, that's not right. Monaco. I don't know. Anyway, they're really fast cars. You have all sorts of stuff to look at in the cockpit. So being able to actually turn your head and check your corners when you're shifting lanes and stuff like that means I can actually drive like I drive a car. It was super cool. And if you have a DK2, I highly recommend it. Obviously, don't go buy a DK2 now if you haven't already spent money on one. Goes without saying.
What are you using as a peripheral?
I'm just using a gamepad right now.
Does it make you want to get a wheel?
I took the goggles off, put my contacts out, and went to Amazon and looked at Logitech high-end racing wheels.
So yes.
And was like, I just cleaned out the garage. This is going to... if I do this, it's going to end up living in the garage. So I did not buy a wheel yet, but maybe. The other thing was this little like chunk of a game called I Expect You to Die. And I'll give you 3 guesses as to what the topic is in a game called I Expect You to Die.
I played it, so Veronica.
What is the game about? That's
yes,
the question.
what is the game about?
I Expect You to Die.
Miss Belmont, I expect you to die.
No.
Wait, hold on. No, I got it. Hold on. Is it a Bond? James Bond? Yes! I got
Right
it!
in one.
Woohoo! Wait,
Right
yes?
in one, yes.
Yes! Yes,
Yes.
I nailed it.
If you had your headphones on, you'd be able to hear that. It was a little soft, I know. So yeah, it's you basically you set up. You start in a cockpit in a like what looks like an old Mercedes Roadster in the back of an airplane. Like you see the loading doors behind you.
Yeah.
And you got a briefing before you start there, I guess, that tells you here's what you're supposed to do, and then you have to figure out how to get the car out of the belly of the airplane.
And the car tries to kill you.
Oh yeah,
So it's very cool.
yeah. It's very interactive. There's a lot of like stuff you reach out and grab stuff. Their control system is novel though. You use a mouse and kind of a keyboard, but mostly just the mouse. So you can kind of look around and then you control your cursor with the mouse cursor. You can grab stuff and pull it closer and further away by using the mouse wheel.
Yeah.
It was a new way to interact with VR that I'd not seen.
I
yet.
was really impressed. I mean, the whole package was smart. You know, like they got the sound right, the graphics were good, and
Yeah.
this interface was smart.
It's short.
Yeah.
But they even did good stuff with like text rendering and stuff like that. That's kind of hard on DK2. It's also the first time I've used the DK2 in a while, after seeing final release versions and HTC Vive and all the other stuff that we've seen.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about having real hardware available later this year.
Nice.
Totally.
Yeah. I put the iOS 9 beta on my iPad the other day. It's neat to be able to multitask. I didn't realize that the list of apps that you can do the split screen thing with is limited to, it seems like apps that have a phone view is what it looks like. It's all first party stuff right now, I think.
Okay.
So it's like
that kinda
messages and
makes
mail
sense,
and I presume that people will be able to say, hey, look, we have a split screen view in their apps so that if I want to have Tweetbot open all the time, I can. But yeah, it's neat.
Good.
There's some weird stuff with iOS 9 if you're thinking about trying the public betas. Sometimes video playback doesn't work right. Plex crashes on launch, so if you use Plex a lot, don't upgrade to iOS 9.
That's right.
That's pretty much it for me.
I can't download apps sometimes.
Really?
Like on my phone, I can't download. I can't buy new apps.
I've been having that issue just
Is that
normally.
just iOS 8?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
having that issue too.
Oh.
Ryan has been as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yikes.
It just goes. It says cannot connect to App Store or like nothing happens.
Right.
It's like, yeah.
8.4 has been kind of buggy. Like I have my Finder or my Springboard crashes fairly regularly.
Yeah. My phone will just restart for no reason.
Yeah.
It's been happening a lot lately.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not what I expect.
I was so pissed about the Audible just had a new update. And pretty much all they did was they were supposed to do some stability things and also a new icon for the app, a new logo.
Okay.
And but no, it wiped everything on the phone.
What?
And my all the
Audible stuff on the phone,
all
or
the
every?
Audible, not just
okay.
all the
It's
Audible
like,
stuff. Sorry, that
sweet,
was not
merciful
clear. That was not
Jehoshaphat.
clear. Sorry. And I it just wouldn't play. It just wouldn't. I couldn't. It showed an audiobook and it just wouldn't play. So I finally just deleted the whole thing and re-downloaded it. And then I had to re-download all my books from the cloud. And fortunately, they kept the sync. So they had that
that's good.
information, so I didn't have to like scroll through and find my place.
Just means you have to use minutes or data or whatever, right? Or if you're on Wi-Fi, nothing.
Yeah.
The thing I discovered the other day when I was reading Seven Eves, is that if you buy the audiobook and you have the Kindle version, now the audiobook can download into the Kindle app too.
Yeah.
And
you can
it
switch
handles
back and
the seamless
forth.
transition a little bit better than
Yeah.
the Audible stuff.
You mean
Yeah,
it marks
through
your
Whisper
place?
Sync.
Like a bookmark?
Yeah, we've talked about this.
Yeah.
So Whisper Sync, it's my all-time favorite feature as somebody who reads a lot of ebooks and also likes listening to books in the car.
That's
Same.
very cool.
And like when I get hooked on something, I don't want to stop. Basically, so many
Is that your
interesting
car?
notifications.
That's my car.
But yeah, so you can pick up where you left off in the audio version of the book.
Yeah.
Frequently for like high-profile books, it seems like they'll do like a $4 deal where you can add on the audiobook to your already purchased Kindle book. But I don't know about that. Have you read anything lately that you're into, Veronica?
I'm reading Uprooted by Naomi Novik right now, which is both the sword and laser and vaginal fantasy pick for August.
Oh, it's a complete
Combo.
wow. That's
Yeah.
it. What are you going to do with all this free time?
I don't know. I'm reading. I have to figure out meditate. I guess.
Yeah, okay.
I don't. I actually downloaded the most recent. I said the exact same thing. I'm listening to it on audio. So when I go to bed at night, I like to read something on my Kindle.
Yeah.
Like, what am I gonna do now? I have so many options. I could read anything.
Oh yeah.
So I'm reading my favorite kind of trashy series, the Kate Daniels series by Ilona Andrews.
Okay.
So there's one more book in that series I hadn't caught up with, but
Did
I
you-
just finished the Voyage of the Basilisk. Voyage of the Basilisk.
That's familiar to
by
me, but
Marie Brennan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it's the third book in her Natural History of Dragons series.
Okay.
It was really good. Yeah, it was good. It's from the perspective of a lady naturalist who focuses on dragons during a alt history Victorian era England-ish
Like
kind of
pre-Reign
place.
of Fire,
Yeah.
Victorian England.
So it's great, and so she's like fighting to get her works published in scientific journals and stuff, and she travels all around the world, and it's very difficult because there's all these rumors back home in Skirling about her because she's like that's the Englandish area, because she's not married, her husband died, and so she has
Spoilers.
shit.
Hey,
Natural History of Dragons, guys.
Yeah, you
read
should
it. It's
just
a great
read that. It's
series.
really
Just read
good.
that series. It's fantastic. Sorry.
Have you read Seven Eves yet?
No.
Oh my God.
oh, I thought that
good.
would be right on your
I
list.
know. I'm like I said. I'm so usually so busy with the two book clubs.
Yeah.
I don't have time to read outside.
Oh, you should read that for Sword and Laser. It's
Yeah.
right up Tom's alley.
Yeah.
That's my next book.
It's fabulous.
I'm this close to finishing Armada, which is Ernie Klein's.
Ernie Klein's,
Have
yeah.
you read that yet?
I haven't yet, but I've been hearing mixed things.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like
So I'm curious to know what you think.
I'm the biggest fan of Ready Player One.
Yeah.
And there are people who don't like it, and I understand. I completely get why they don't like it. I like it for my own reasons. That have
Right.
more to do with the imaginative game that he came up with.
Yeah.
Armada's less about that and more about character and plot and like actual people in the real world. And I'm not liking it as much. But it's still fun. It's still got some 80s nostalgia in it, and it's a good story. It's just one that borrows and maybe doesn't inject a whole lot of originality.
So you liked the shtick a little bit.
Oh, I loved the nostalgia stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, heavily.
Yeah, I can see you liking that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're wearing
a
he's wearing a
guy.
pinball shirt.
I know. He's like 300th in the world.
I know.
Amazing.
If we could kill 299 of those people, get you up to number one.
Oh, that'd be so
No,
cool.
don't do that. Those are good players. I'll never learn anything.
Okay, fair
Okay,
point.
Well, you're a good person.
I'm reading.
We just want you to be the best.
I'm midway through Aurora by Kim Stanley Robinson.
Oh, nice.
So Kim Stanley Robinson is the Red Mars, wrote
Yep.
the Red Mars trilogy, of which I think Red Mars is fabulous, and the other two are okay.
I read Shaman.
Oh, was it good?
It was good.
I haven't read that.
Yeah, it's a little less fantastical or science fiction-y, but it's really good. He writes a lot of naturalist stuff too because he's such a big outdoors guy.
Oh yeah, his I want to say it's 50 Shades of Winter, but I don't think that's right. It's he wrote a whole trilogy about how climate change is going to affect North America. It's not super scientifically accurate, or at least we don't think so, but it's very entertaining. But the Aurora starts midway through a generation ship's voyage to some other star system. And it's a look at that kind of concept that I've never really read before. So
Yeah.
usually people look at the interesting stuff happening on either side at the beginning or the end, and you kind of don't get to pick it up and see what it, have a look at what people think that might be like for people that are trapped on this ship for their entire lifetimes against their will, basically. It's an interesting concept.
Yeah. I like Kim Stanley Robinson.
Kim Stanley Robinson
We
is
interviewed
solid.
him on Sword and Laser a couple years ago at the Nebula Awards.
Okay.
Yeah, down in San Jose.
He seems like a really normal human being.
He is
from
very
what I've
nice.
seen. Yeah.
Very nice, very smart.
Cool.
You know what I also watched on the plane, finally, is My Dinner with Andre.
Really?
Oh, I don't know that one.
Have you ever watched that?
Yeah, let's see. It's the movie that Roger Ebert said was the only movie he'd ever seen that was completely without cliche.
Exactly.
Yes.
My father-in-law had raved about this movie, and so I finally watched it, and I saw that tweet. It reminded me of it. I downloaded it off YouTube right before I lost Wi-Fi to
It's
go
on
to-
YouTube?
It's on YouTube. And
Okay.
so I just watched it on the plane, and everyone should watch this movie at least once.
It's a fabulous movie.
It is a wonderful conversation between two people that could not be more relevant today, even despite being made in '81.
Interesting that it's Wallace Shawn
Yeah.
because I just see him and I'm like, oh, Andre the Giant.
Exactly.
I wanted it to be him talking to Andre
The
the
other
Giant
Andre.
because he was in The Princess
Oh.
Bride with him.
Oh, it's the it's the
Yeah.
inconceivable
Inconceivable
guy?
guy.
Conceivable.
Yeah, Wallace Shawn.
Interesting.
He's great. And no, it's Andre Gregory, not Andre the Giant.
He's in
Different person.
That would be in a completely
It'd be a
different
very
movie.
different movie.
It would.
Very different movie.
Wallace Gregory popped up in something else the other day. And I don't remember what it was.
Wallace Shawn.
Well, Sean.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He was on Gossip Girl.
Well, yeah, I knew that. No, but he's in something new, playing a similar role to his role in
Princess
Bride.
Oh, really? Oh, that's funny.
Oh man, I can't remember what it was.
Think of it. Think of it.
Have either of you upgraded to Windows 10 yet?
Nope. I want to. Tom did.
I got my USB stick ready, but I'm nervous about this DK2 support.
Don't do it if you're using DK2 still.
Yeah.
I
Nervous
did.
about my Steam library. I don't know why. I just am.
Well, you back up, right? You don't back up, bro? You got to back up. Hey, Veronica.
I don't back up things on my PC, but I guess I should, huh?
Like back
I
up
back
what?
up my laptop.
Are you talking-
You should back up
in
your
three different
document.
ways.
You should back up your save games folder, if nothing else. Those things are valuable.
Yeah.
That's hundreds of hours.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
have to.
You
It's
should
fine.
use
I'm not going to tell
service.
Patrick
Do
or
that.
something.
Don't tell Patrick.
Use a service, like seriously, like Backblaze.
I have Crash Plan.
Crash Plan.
Yeah.
And I have the unlimited family plan, so all I need to do is literally
Just
connect
tell
it.
it.
Yeah.
I think I did. I might
Yeah.
still. I have to check
That's
on
good.
that. I will. I'm sorry, guys. Don't listen to me.
We're not going to judge you. I mean,
Okay.
that's what YouTube's for. Yeah. So I did a clean install of Windows 10. On
Is that
my
the way to do
PC.
it? Don't upgrade.
The upgrade seems pretty good. We talked about this a little bit last week, but you guys weren't here. They're rolling out the upgrade so that if you get the opportunity to upgrade through the little app that's on your Windows 8 or Windows 7 machine, it means that they're pretty sure that your machine is going to be good based on upgrades that people in the Insider program have done. So they look at all the hardware configurations that are out there and say, okay, these guys, we know these are pretty good, so let's flip the switch for them. If you still haven't gotten the little notification that you can do the upgrade, then your options basically are to do a clean install. And in order to activate a Windows 7 or Windows 8 copy with a clean install, you have to upgrade a Windows 8 machine. So that means if your current install won't upgrade, you have to wipe the machine, install Windows 8, activate that, upgrade that to Windows 10, and then wipe it again if you want to have a clean from scratch install. That stuff worked pretty well. The problem is that I couldn't connect to SMB shares on my NAS box after I had done that. So all of the Samba, SIFs, whatever you want to call them, the 15 different names for Windows type networking shares, it just wouldn't physically connect. And it was because my NAS was using an older version of the SMB protocol that Windows 10 said, no, we don't allow that one anymore.
What?
Took forever to figure out.
Wow.
I almost went back to I was so pissed I almost went back to Windows 7. I was like, nope, let's burn it all down. Windows 8's a nightmare. I don't want to go back to that. I'm going to go to Windows 7 and I'm going to live there.
So was that a firmware upgrade on your NAS box to solve it?
Well, no, the NAS box is a free NAS box, so I had to basically update, flip some toggles, and then everything started working again magically.
Okay. Wow.
But
Yikes.
it was literally all day Saturday figuring it out.
But overall, it's pretty nice, right?
It's
Windows 10?
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of privacy concerns. The
Wi-Fi stuff?
Well, the Wi-Fi stuff we talked about some last week. It's funny. People's reaction to the Wi-Fi stuff varied dramatically. Like, I was really upset because I feel like the Wi-Fi thing is that Microsoft, when you log into a Wi-Fi access point, they encrypt that information, save it on a server someplace, and then anybody that you're friends with on the social networks that they're looking at, which I think is people in your Outlook contacts, people on Facebook that you're friends with, when they encounter that same access point, will be able to pull down the information and just log in automatically on Windows 10, Windows 8.1, and Windows Phone devices. People like, I felt a little bit upset, and the way you opt out is by changing the SSID to include the word _ opt out. So you have to then reconfigure everything that connects to your
That's
network,
crazy that
which
you have
is
to do
insane.
that.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. My Wi-Fi SSID, man, it's part of my identity. You can't take that away from me. I'm never changing scrotum.
Also, that's so not user friendly at all.
Yeah, no, it's the
that's
worst.
like completely.
And all they'd have to do is put in, like, set up a web form. You can put in the SSID and like your basic geo coordinates and say, no, never again. Don't connect.
Oh, wait, did I just say Windows was not user friendly? Weird.
This version of Windows is surprisingly good though. Like,
Yeah, it looks great.
Like, it's I think it's the every other version. It's like Star Trek movies, right? Only the odd ones are good.
It's only user friendly because we used Windows 7 for so long.
Maybe.
Right?
Maybe. I mean, the core difference seems to be that they took all the metrics and all the data they collect on how people use Windows and then actually changed Windows to be more like the way people use it instead of the way they wanted people to use it, which is what they did with Windows 8.
Well, that's a good pitch.
The privacy stuff is concerning. There's a bunch of posts. Ours has a good one about all the stuff to turn off if you don't want your data sent to Microsoft. That's pretty much what I got basically. So
I have a small problem with the upgrade. I'm running Windows 8.1 Home. I used to run Windows 7 Pro.
yeah.
So I can't upgrade to Windows 10 Pro. I have to upgrade to Windows, 10 Home.
But you can upgrade to Windows 10 Home and then pay for an upgrade to Windows 10 Pro.
$100. But if I were to reinstall Windows 7 Pro,
Yeah.
I could get it for free.
That's what you should do.
That's a pain in the butt.
Just put another hard drive in, do it, install, activate, and then switch to the Windows 8 hard drive and upgrade from there, and it'll work.
Oh, it sounds like an afternoon.
You should just wipe the machine and start over.
Yeah, see?
That's
That's
takeaway.
what I gotta do.
Throw
Yeah.
it out the window.
Yeah, burn it all down.
End it.
What does Pro give you that you need that Home doesn't?
Remote desktop.
Oh, okay.
I like that.
It's a useful feature.
It's the fastest remote desktop out there.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else anybody's been testing they love to share? Okay. Let's. I think we should call it a show. Thank you guys for coming in. Thank you all for watching. Veronica Belmont, if people want to find you, you have a new thing over at Engadget.
I do. I have a new show called Dear Veronica.
People should watch it.
You should. It's really fun. You should be on it sometime.
I have a horseman. I'm ready to go.
You got your horse mask? Okay, today was Doge mask on
Oh.
today's episode. Do you have Doge mask?
I don't have a Doge mask.
Oh.
But
You can borrow mine. There you go. Perfect. That's
That's
good.
not
That's
spooky at
perfect.
all.
So yeah, it's a weekly advice show dealing with technology, science, social media, etiquette, pretty much anything. I also weirdly cover a lot of dog-related questions. I think people just get me.
Yeah.
They know that I'll answer them. But you can submit questions using Dear Veronica as a hashtag on Twitter or by emailing me at veronica@engadget.com. Always doing Sword and Laser with Tom Merritt for the last 8 years. Sci-fi
Wow.
fantasy.
You've been doing that for 8 years?
8 years, I know.
That's
it's crazy.
insane.
So each week we have either a full episode talking about the latest news in sci-fi fantasy, talking about discussions from the forums, author interviews. So that's at swordandlaser.com. Vaginal Fantasy is my erotic version of Sword and Laser, essentially, with Felicia Day, Bonnie Burton, who you had on the show recently.
She built Lego with us and was on the
Yeah.
podcast too.
Awesome. And Kyla Caseby.
She was a
And
little broken when she she had messed
her
up her back.
Her back
and-
has been messed
yeah.
up for a while. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's really awful. But she's still great on Vaginal Fantasy.
She was in
put
rare
a glass
form
of
the
wine
other
in her
day.
and she'll be awesome. And then I'm a weekly contributor to Tom's Daily Tech News Show every Monday. So you
Okay.
can find that at dailytechnewsshow.com.
Awesome.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
Jeremy Williams, you have been teasing Game Frame updates on Twitter lately.
I
I'm
have
putting
not.
you on the spot.
I've done no such thing.
You told people there will be something this fall.
Yeah, I'm working on a really cool update, and it's coming this fall.
Yay.
Okay. That's all I wanted out
There's
of you.
still a lot of interest in it, and I just haven't. It's taken longer to make this revision than expected, but it's going to be pretty cool. I'm really happy with it. It's coming together. So hoping to have it ready by November. November 1.
Right on.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's going to be pretty cool.
And that'll do it for us this week. I did not download an outro again. So today's outro is going to come from AdHoc13. Thanks, guys, for listening, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Hi there. I didn't see you.
One-way trip to VR.
We'll get the couch and the soylent ready for you.
Say goodbye to your children.
Nice.
Oldie, but a goodie.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Thank you.